And now it's time for Photo Booth Live Chat with John Young. Good evening and welcome everyone out there in the internet world. Tonight on PBNTV, we are going to be talking to Scott Carroll tonight. We're going to be talking a little bit about his journey from a wedding industry person into adding the photo booth to his business. Good evening, Scott.
Hey, how you doing, John?
I'm doing well, doing very, very well. Thanks for joining me tonight. Looking forward to our discussion this evening.
Yes. And I was kind of wanting to throw in kind of saying, well, some questions that you might have to answer on me as well to say, how is this working for me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll dig into a lot of that. For those of you who are joining us, Facebook, we're do groups and pages and different things out there. We are 2 weeks. Scott and I were just talking about this a few minutes ago. We are 2 weeks away from the kickoff, the Photo Booth Expo and the PBNTV DJ conference in Las Vegas. 2 weeks from right now, the stage is going to be, there's going to be seminars going on. There's the photo booth seminars going on. There will be the DJ seminars going on, and we'll be getting ready in a couple of hours for the welcoming night party. So pretty excited. Scott, you're going to be joining us out there this year.
Yes, I am.
That's good. Absolutely fine. David, thank you for being with tonight out there on the chat. But if you guys have got any questions with the show coming up or with what Scott and I are talking about tonight, just put those in the chat. Then we can definitely talk about those because all the chats come right to me on my computer. So for more information about the show, you can go to photoboothexpo.com. If you want to check out the DJ side of it, go to djntv.com/show. The schedules are up. The exhibit hall is full. The hotel, the rate on rooms has gone up a little bit, but it's still, I think it was $79 a night, which is $10 more than it was last week type of thing, or whatever it was when the price went up. But still, it's a great price on the hotel. You can come in for $50. You can get in the exhibit hall, check that out, and you can join us in the chill room. Great time to be had by all. So looking forward to it. So Scott, let's jump into the photo booth side of things. You added it. You do a variety of different things within the wedding industry, with officiating and entertaining. How long ago did you add the photo booth to your company?
This is going on our third. This is actually our third year. We're just about out of lease on it. I've got maybe two or three more little payments on it, and I'll be done with the lease part of it. So it's been right at 3 years. When I first jumped into it, I said, "Man, what am I doing?" My wife says, "I hope you know what you're doing because you're talking about an investment of close to almost $7,000."
Oh my!
Yeah, and this is the old box type of photo booth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can even
if you got a picture there, pop it up here. We can share.
Yeah,
we can share that.
We were just talking about how I'm having to do that, and you'd think I'd be more computer savvy at this. I'm going to show you this is actually the picture of it that let me see if I can get around to it here and open it up. This one here is one of the box.
Yep. Just make sure you click that. Make sure you select the window, click share, and click that. Get that window.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking to see where my Yeah, they're down.
all the little cursor things move move between when we were doing it practicing earlier. Now when we're live,
Yeah, and now I'm like, where is
where
my?
did they go? Where did they go?
Where did they go? I may have to, due to time permitting here. That's what I'm looking for. Anyway, I know they're in here. There they are. Okay. I just have to open the window up, and then
There you go. Grab the screen share, and you can.
yeah, then I can do it from there. Hold on just a second. Let me go to screen share real quick.
Yep.
And there it is. Everybody see that?
There we go.
There
Yep. We can see it. Yes.
Right. This is actually, I do not have the entire full front of this on there. I took it off. I've had it on there before, but this is, of course, have been closed. The problem with this, you can only get so many guests inside that like
Sure.
that. You jam them in there like that. I have a step stool for little ones that they can stand on.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask parents to make sure they hold on to the little ones while they have them up on the step stool.
Yes.
And what have you. But this is the how the booth actually would have been set up, with the not putting the front and leaving the front open, just on there. But I find it being opened is the best way to do it. But that's one of the ways. Let me come back again here.
So Scott, from that picture, you've got your prop table on the side there. You've got your workflow where they come in, they take the pictures. Is there a printer that you have with that where people, when they come out, that they're...
Let me go back. The printer, I guess the pointer's...
Oh, right there. Yep.
Right there.
Okay, so it's coming out the side of the unit.
It's coming out the side there. I have an attendant who usually stands back here. That table there holds their... that's where their photo album is at. When I do 2 pictures out, one goes in a photo album that I give them toward the end, and then the computer is brought over to me, and I download everything onto a jump drive for them as well. Most people would say, well, that's a service that I decided, hey, the photo albums are not that expensive. Hey, let's give them out. And I usually will print out 2 prints. That usually takes 30 to 40 seconds. That's an NDP or P DNP printer is what that is, and that's like a 620 printer. It prints them out phenomenally quick. But that's where that's housed at, and it's not that noisy in that enclosure. It really isn't. But that's where it's located there.
Let's leave this picture up and let's talk about this a little bit more. First off, why did you go with this particular system? I mean, this was a large investment, and you probably could have gone with an open air one or something like that wouldn't have been as expensive. But you invested in this one. What was your reasoning behind that?
Not having knowledge, to be right honest with you.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right on. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I didn't have knowledge in this. And now looking back, yeah, you know how you want to kick yourself for doing what you did, and hauling this around, it's not too bad. I can get both DJ system and this complete booth in my minivan with all the seats out. So it can be carried around, but at the time I didn't have knowledge on it. I was getting calls right and left. Open Air had called me. This one happens to be a company that was out of Chicago, Illinois, called Mojo. Booth, Mojo Photo Booth. Mm-hmm. And it was just the photo booth company. And at the time, I didn't know anything about any other type. This is the only photo booth that I'd actually had seen. Sure. And, just having that knowledge is power. This right here is a perfect example of just not having enough knowledge, to be right honest with you. And and then everybody was saying, yeah, everybody was picturing the photo booth like this. I was seeing a lot of YouTube videos that they were using this type of booth. Right. And it really wasn't until probably not even 3 or 4 months later, after I bought this booth, I started seeing more of the lollipop or the selfie type booths coming out. And I was seeing more of these, to be honest with you, still out. Mm-hmm. But now that I have the knowledge on it, would I have went a different route? Yes, I would have.
But I think what you've got there, though, gives a completely different experience from, as you referred to them as the lollipop type selfie booths, even though they may have a real camera in them.
Yeah,
This is a go in the booth, even though you have it open. It's still, you've got I like the way you have the little goodness gracious, the little rope, the standards in the rope there to kind of block things off. So it makes it seem like it's more of a special thing. You've got your props there, you go into the booth and you can do your thing. So I think you're giving the customer a different experience than it would be as if you just had that selfie booth in a corner. And that's what I run myself. And I know that there are times where I see something like that and it's like, oh, you know what? That's cool because it can give that different experience.
Well, you see how much light is back behind us here? See where I'm pointing here? This is the other reason inside this particular venue, I used this booth just like this. I had it one time open, and there was so much light that it was interfering with it.
Washing everybody out. Yeah, I could see
everybody out. And they didn't want me to put any window coverings over the windows. No.
Oh, certainly not. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'll bring this in. I'll set it up. It takes an extra probably 10 minutes, if that, to bring this, because this is all just like one of those little pop-up tents.
Right, yeah.
Basically what that is. You've got and it's straight on down, and it's durable. This thing is very durable. It's not, even if they lean up against the back of this, that has Velcro going around it, inside of it and stuff like that. It's really sturdy, to be honest with you. These all snap around. They have snaps that go all the way around it as well.
Yeah.
So it's on certain things I have to. The problem is my dance floor is way on the other side.
Yeah, this particular room, yeah.
In this particular room. But I still get the phenomenal going on in that room is they're still having a good time. They'll be over here hooping and hollering. I've had a line all the way around, and this venue probably holds less than 100 people. And I've had a line all the way around into that booth, people waiting to get into it. And when they get done, get back in the line again. I mean,
it's because they're having fun with it.
Okay, and let's do it again. I don't charge any extra on the pictures. I don't care. I've got enough media that I carry 2 cases with me.
Sure.
And I've got enough to go if I need to. They're never going to burn through them. I don't worry about it. On average, I probably pull out 80 to 100 prints out of here. Usually it's about 100, believe it or not.
Yeah, depending upon how many guests and how active and fast they're rolling through.
And they pack in here like crazy. They don't care. I say, well, as long as you can see yourself and you can, and then you got to have them look up here, which is on the other side. And that's what the attendant does. That's what they make sure. When I attend the booth, oh my gosh, I'm crazy. And they love it.
Yeah, well, for sure. It makes that adds to that experience. We got a couple of comments in the chat room here. David mentions, of course, that he bought an open air iPad booth and such, and has used that and loves the simplicity of it, which is a big plus for those iPad ones where they email it to themselves. There's advantages to that. But then he comes back and says, with what Scott has, he can command a much higher dollar than what I or David can with our selfie booths. So, and John mentions that your system looks really like a real professional system. And I think that's probably the big thing is we look at that and it's like, wow, $7,000 is a lot of money. Now I want to talk to Scott a little bit about how you've been able to utilize this and how often is it going out? Let's kind of dig into that side of the equation a little bit.
It averages 1 to 2 times a month, sometimes more. It is used. I use it anywhere from proms. I'll use it at proms to 16th birthday parties. Weddings are my biggest group on it because I do a combo. Because there's a combo with it.
Sure.
And I'm able to save the bride a little bit of money. And everybody knows this. Brides want to save as much, and they want to dime, nickel and dime together. Wait a minute, I'm going to spend $1,500 on that wedding cake, but I only wanted to give that DJ $500. Yeah, okay, another story, another show altogether. Mm-hmm. But no, that I've been able to really sell this booth. The fact that people come out and they go to a wedding or they go to an event and they see it. And when they see it, even how it's set up like this, I've had people, can you set it up with a tent? We like it with a tent.
Yep.
I give whatever the client goes. Now, I do charge a little bit more for that particular setup than I do open because it requires a little bit more. It's not
time,
much, but I do ask a little bit more for setting that up. And, people are usually pretty good on it. The client's usually not bad on that.
Sure. Scott, do you use this then? Is it part of your DJ company that you're selling it under the same banner, or do you have it as two separate entities?
It is basically under it's under the same banner.
Okay.
I thought about separating it. A lot of people said I should have separated it, but I'm selling it as another addition to my DJ service.
Okay.
Is what I'm doing. In fact,
so if somebody really wanted to buy it as just the photo booth, it could happen, but most of the time you're really trying to combine the two together.
I'm trying to, and I try to do that. And I have showed up to weddings, and I even knew the DJ. Sometimes I don't know them, but sometimes I do. And they're hitting tooth and nail to try to get people on the dance floor. So I encourage the bride or whatever to let me get this photo booth as close to the dance floor as I can.
Right.
And I'll even show you, I've got some pictures in there to where they'll go in the photo booth, do some shots, get their pictures, come back out, hit the dance floor.
Yep.
So it's a good enhancement for that DJ. I kind of work hand in hand with him. Then I've been to some events and some weddings that they were more into that photo booth than they were into that dance floor. And that happens.
It's certainly at times during the night, there's going to be those as the energy wanes and builds, you're going to have times where all of a sudden it's like, dance floor is pretty empty because I've got 5 teenagers wanting to dance to the get up, and the adults are over there, in the photo booth. So yeah,
and I found that I'll do this. I'll hear them over there hooping and hollering in the photo booth, and especially if it's not set up close to the dance floor. And my wife is the one that usually will do it, and I will holler over there. I'll say, it sounds like my wife's having more fun over there at the photo booth. Yeah, photo booth, a shout out. And you'll hear everybody over there at the photo booth throwing a shout out. I'll just do a quick shout out. I won't do it all the time. But if I hear them really into it over there, I'll let them know, hey, I'm still over here as well.
Yep.
And trying to get them back again on the floor. It works sometimes. Sometimes it don't. And I can show you. I'm going to pull this one.
Well, let's
you want me to go back to that?
No, we're fine. We're fine. You mentioned, of course, that your wife is acting as the attendant for that. Before you added the photo booth, was she involved with the DJ side where she was coming with you then, or is that something that started?
She would come with me and help me set up.
Okay.
And she was in the background. She's become more involved with my company now that we've added this photo booth. She knows how to break that down. She can have that photo booth broke down in 30 minutes. We had to get out of a room and we had 1 hour to get out. We ended the photo booth 30 minutes before the actual time was for us to stop. Party stopped at 9. The photo booth stopped at 8:30. Still got the 3 hours in, but she'd already had everything, brought me over the computer. I had the thumb drive over where I was at, plugged the thumb drive in, back the prints up, boom. I hand her back the computer. She's bagging it. I'm looking over going, oh my gosh, honey, you got them stacked.
It's already done.
Well, they're not that heavy.
Yep.
You got to understand something. The more you put in those cubes, the heavier that they get.
Yep.
I mean, the paper is probably, or the media is probably the heaviest thing.
Right.
That really goes in there, to be right honest with you. And she has it all done, and she's not a small person, but she's not a big person, but she can get it and put it down. And I'm like, honey, my gosh, I love you, but wow, so I'm ready to go. I'm coming over here to help you. And she'll maybe start helping me break the event table down and, get stuff on the DJ end. She even knows how to put those Evolve 50s up and down for me. I mean, It's just, it's phenomenal that I do have that help, and I have her more involved. And, she's involved in other things with me when I officiate. But the photo booth has been her. when she gets a crowd that has, say, it's kind of slumped down, you got to reset all of your party props. And sometimes you cannot get them all done. I've got slots for them to go in. In fact, I've gotten away from using the cheap party props.
Sure.
I get brides that bring them. Sometimes we pop them open and use them just so that they won't feel bad about it.
Right.
You know, we'll set them on the table. Oh, good, you're using my party props. They want to see them because they bought them. You know, they feel bad but then they'll look over and see, oh, you got wooden ones or plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
I says, yeah, these are
real.
You know, and she's constantly having to chase them down sometimes. That happens.
Yes, it does.
And all. But I have given party props to little kids before. I'm not worried about a little party prop that, is a couple dollars. That kid wants it. You know, the parent, oh, I'll bring it back. No, let her have it. Let her have it. That way she's got to, sometimes I'll tape a business card onto the back of it or something like that, or give it to them. But that's not a problem on that. But party props can be an expense quickly. You're buying the cheap ones.
Yeah, that they can. They're definitely disposable, which is one of the cool things about at Photo Booth Expo is you have companies that supply the better quality props, whether it's wooden or a polymer type, whatever, that there's some really cool and really good quality props that are available at killer prices. It's interesting. I'll give you a little heads up here, Scott, since this will be your first time out there. The exhibit hall opens Tuesday at 5:00. The first people in line head right to some of these prop places because they have got shelves upon shelves. Maybe I'll sneak you in to show you the exhibit hall in the afternoon. You get in there and the crowd, the people who have been there just swarm those areas, and they're getting the words and the different little phrases and this year's catchphrase, whatever that might be. And there's 50 to 100 people trying to buy props in some of these little booths.
Case is going to be packed when I come back. I better watch it.
We're not supposed to talk about that on camera. Shh. Yeah, don't mention the prop. What's in your suitcase, honey? Nothing. Dirty socks.
Nothing. Yes.
So Scott, as we've got a few more minutes here, we like to keep these shows a little tighter. As you were looking forward to the show coming up here, what are some of the things? I mean, props probably are one of the areas. What other things are you kind of looking forward to learning as or seeing at the Photo Booth Expo this year?
Well, and we were even talking about being able to use some of the gear that I have in the cubed type photo booth that I have now.
Yeah.
To be able to switch it over to more of a selfie type photo booth using the printer. In fact, they have mounts on the outside of them now and just a little bit easier setup.
Sure.
That's what I'm going to be able to be looking at too, is some of what I can use as far as some of the selfie station type photo booths that are and get away from the cube and phase out of it. Now that I've had it for 3 years, I'm looking to upgrade, and that's one of the things I want to be looking at as well. And I seen some out when I was out at Atlantic City, but I know I'm going to see some that are going to be far more. Hey, honey, can I do this?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
it's only this. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to get permission from
the financing department there.
Yeah, but that's kind of the things that I want to be looking for. Besides for the nicer party props, is being able to at least buy the containment and use almost what I have, because it's got a nice camera inside.
Right, yeah.
Using a tablet as the touch screen. See, that has a Echo touch screen that's in it, but it's PC based. I'm wanting to go more Apple based.
Sure. Yeah.
More of the iPad type approach. Or someone also said something about even if I wanted to go to the Surface
Pro. Yep. It's amazing. From year to year, you wouldn't think there's that much jump in technology, but not only does Apple and Samsung and all these other companies come out with new tablets and new devices every year, then the software companies come out with new things, and how they utilize those all together is just incredible. So this is, if a person's wanting to, it's kind of like going to a super center. The photo booth super center is what what the show is, because everything that you've ever wanted to know is there for sure.
Any other questions there, John?
They've been just kind of hanging out. David is going to join us, of course, in February, and David's wanting to investigate the green screen side of things, and of course, this is a great spot to check that out. And
I meant to mention that does have green screen capabilities.
Yeah.
Using darkroom software is what I use on there now.
Nice.
And I have an actual green screen that goes into that tent.
Oh, and takes
with it.
Instead of the white that goes green. Nice.
Yeah. So I can put any background I want inside of that, and you can still use it as open. I didn't even share it as. In fact, I have an open. Let me see if I can real quick. Like I got those open. I'll show you real quick.
Oh, John's going to join us also in Las Vegas. Excellent.
Oh, good.
Looking forward to seeing everybody.
Yeah, I mean, knowledge is power on the whole approach.
Yep, and that's really.
I've got one that I can show you that's a little bit better.
Let's do quick, and then we'll wrap up.
Real quick, and then we'll wrap up. And all.
And once again, if you guys want to go find out more information about Photo Booth Expo, go out to photoboothexpo.com. The agenda's up for the year. Then a lot of the information's up. Everything's up there, so you guys can check that out.
There it is, open there.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, without the tent and such, you've got your background.
Without the tent, that is actually, I bought that. This thing here has heavy 20-pound plates that are probably almost about 2 feet in diameter that sit on the bottom of this thing. They're heavy.
Right.
They're over 20 or 25 pounds. So they're weighted down. They're not the old flimsy tripod type of
the cheap photographer background that you can buy off Amazon for $19.
But that's what that is. And
nice.
then it kind of shows you, basically the same. There's a stool.
Oh yeah.
They came in this way, picked their party props up, come around. And we had them wait like right here. They weren't waiting long, and that's pretty well in a nutshell. That's what
excellent.
That's what it is open.
Yeah.
So John,
nice.
I do greatly appreciate you. Having me come on. I hope
that was great.
Was able to share some stuff. And
knowledge
is power. When you go to get into the photo booth, into this, knowledge is power.
And that's been a big discussion this past week. I've had, I think, probably maybe a dozen messages between people who are like, "Hey, are the deals good enough to justify airfare and hotel or this and that?" And it's like, the deals are, but that's not the real reason to go. It's because you can go there and you can compare this one to this one. You can ask questions. You can learn about them. You can't do that anywhere else in the world if you're looking to get into a photo booth or if you're wanting to add something to it. Is the mosaic booth, is the mirror booth something I want to do? Is the 360 system is something I want to get to? Is the GIF, the moving camera, whatever. There's so many different options out there nowadays.
And the other thing is, John, do not buy this thing and then go out there and throw it live. You didn't do that as a DJ. You practiced before you went out with any gear, so you knew how to. You do not want to be caught not knowing how to change the paper, not knowing how to do this, that, and the other. You got an instruction book in front of you, and you got guests waiting to get through the photo booth. You don't. You treat it like any other.
You've got it. Yeah.
That you would have, just to let you know that.
Scott, because of you having the photo booth and the DJ, is there a time when you guys shut down the photo booth during certain parts of the wedding? Or is it
quickly on that, what I do is I try to start the photo booth up right during the dinner hour. Okay. It gives people a little bit of a chance. I've started it up earlier sometimes, but I find dinner hour and usually 30 minutes before the actual party ends so that we can wrap it up. We'll call a last call usually 15 minutes beforehand and get everybody through it. You're always going to have those stragglers that are going to come through, but that's fine. I'll work with them, but that's how I pretty well, and I do it within I have that photo booth open for 3 hours out of a 4 or a 5 hour with ceremony and reception going on.
Nice.
So just that's the way we're able to put it in, and it works well.
Excellent, excellent, good stuff, good stuff. Just want to give a shout out to Ron. Ron's watching us on Facebook. Thanks for joining. Ron's had some. He's been sick recently, so it's good to see him out and about. So yeah, he does some DIY. He has a rental division to his entertainment company, and he does rents out a DIY photo booth, which would be an interesting thing. Ron, when you're feeling better, we should get you on a show and we should talk about that. That's a good discussion. So, Scott, looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks, my friend.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me on,
Yeah.
and I hope I was able to be informative and, just kind of, I didn't want to go too far out on everything, but I just kind of wanted to focus in on why it's a great asset to have both photo booth and DJ within your company.
Yeah, good stuff. And of course, links in the description below for you guys to go check out Photo Booth Expo, and we will see you, or some of you, in 2 weeks in Vegas. Thanks for watching, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.